Okay, so what if I told you that the reason most businesses fail has absolutely nothing to do with their product? Today, we're diving into Sabri Subi's incredible book, Sell Like Crazy, to unpack a system that's all about solving the one problem that really matters: how to get a flood of new customers consistently.
Let's just start with a pretty grim reality, okay? 96%. That means 9, almost 10 out of every 10 businesses you see out there today, they just won't be around in a decade. And look, that's not just some random number. It's the huge, uphill battle that every single business owner is facing, whether they realize it or not.
So why? Why such a massive failure rate? Well, you might be surprised to hear it's almost never because of a bad product. Think about it. Most businesses are started by these brilliant practitioners, amazing chefs, talented designers, expert builders, people who are absolute masters of their craft. But they're often missing the one skill that really truly determines whether they sink or swim.
I mean, you can pour your heart and soul into making the world's best pasta, or designing the most stunning website, or building the strongest house, but if nobody knows about it or how to buy it, it just doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the market doesn't reward the best thing. It rewards the business that can best sell its solution to a problem.
And this brings us to the first, and honestly, one of the biggest mindset shifts in this whole system. I'm sure you've heard it, or maybe even said it yourself. When a business is struggling, what's the first thing people say? I just need more traffic, right? But what if? What if that's the completely wrong problem to be focused on?
Now really, think about it for a second. When you're brainstorming how to grow your business, is your first instinct, I need more visitors to my website? Or I need more likes on my posts? For most people, yeah, it is. But that's kind of like putting the cart, miles ahead of the horse.
Okay, so here's the big secret. You don't have a traffic problem. You have a conversion problem. I mean, think about it. In today's world, with giants like Google and Facebook, traffic is basically a commodity. You can buy it whenever you want. The real war, the place where businesses actually win or lose, is in converting that traffic, turning those clicks into actual paying customers.
And this quote really hits hard, but it's so true. Relying on so-called free traffic, referrals, word of mouth, it's just too unpredictable. You can't build a real scalable business on hope. A real business has to have a system, a machine, that can take $1 in advertising and turn it into more than $1 in profit. That's the engine of growth.
This is exactly why we need to completely reframe how we think about advertising. It's not an expense. When you have a system that actually works, paid advertising becomes the single best investment you can possibly make. I mean, just look at these numbers. Savings, real estate, they don't even come close. We're not talking about just spending money. We're talking about putting capital to work to literally multiply it.
All right, so if the name of the game is profitable conversion, where in the world do we start? Well, the very first, most fundamental step is to stop trying to sell to everyone and start focusing on just one person, your dream buyer.
And this idea right here, the larger market formula, is an absolute game changer. See, most businesses, they spend all their time, all their money, all their energy fighting tooth and nail over that tiny little 3% of the market that's ready to buy right now. But the real money, the real gold mine, is hidden in plain sight. It's in the huge chunk of the market that pretty much everyone else is completely ignoring. Yep, the real money is in educating the other 97%. This is where the massive, untapped opportunity lies. You're engaging with people your competitors don't even see. These are the folks who are just becoming aware they have a problem, or maybe they're just starting to gather information. And if you're the one who helps them, who educates them and builds that trust now, well, who do you think they're going to buy from when the time is right?
So the big question is, how do you figure out what these people, this huge 97%, actually want? The book calls it the Halo Strategy, and it's pretty cool. It's basically about becoming a digital detective, putting on your trench coat and observing your customers where they live online. And it's actually a pretty straightforward process. First, you find where they hang out online. Think forums, Facebook groups, Reddit, Amazon reviews, wherever they are. Then you just listen. Pay close attention to the exact words and phrases they use to talk about their biggest pains and their deepest desires. When you do this, you can enter the conversation that's already happening in their head. Your marketing stops sounding like marketing, and it starts to feel like you're literally reading their mind.
Okay, so once you know your dream buyer inside and out, what's next? Well, the next step is to create the perfect bait, something so good, so valuable that they simply can't resist it.
This is what's called a high-value content offer, or an HVCO for short. Now, this is crucial.
It is not a sales pitch. It's a piece of free content, like a report, a checklist, or a video that solves one of their urgent, hair-on-fire problems. And in exchange for you putting out that fire, they happily give you their contact info.
And this is the reaction you're going for. You want them to think, wow, if this is what they're giving away for free, I can only imagine how good their paid stuff must be. A great HVCO does this amazing thing. It builds instant trust, positions you as the expert, and completely flips the script. You're no longer chasing them. They start seeing you as the go-to guide.
Let's make this super clear with a quick example. On one hand, you have the classic Get a Quote button. Who does that appeal to? Only that tiny 3% who are ready to pull the trigger right now. But on the other hand, Free Report, 11 things no home builder would dare tell you. Now, who does that appeal to? Pretty much everyone in that 97%, right? It's the night and day difference between screaming, "Buy from me," and whispering, "Here, let me help you."
All right, I've got a fantastic story for you now that just perfectly illustrates how critical this all is. This really drives home the power of how you frame your offer. So here's the tale of two book titles. On the left, you have Astrological Love. Kind of vague, right? A little out there. Now look at the title on the right. How to Satisfy a Woman Every Time and Have Her Beg for More. I mean, it's a bit direct, but it's crystal clear what the benefit is. Which one do you think sold more copies?
And here's the absolute kicker. Get this. It was the exact same book. The content inside was identical. Not a single word was changed. The only thing that was different was the title on the cover, the headline.
So what was the result of that one little change? That same book, with its new title, went on to sell 2.3 million copies. Just let that sink in for a moment. The product didn't change at all. Only the promise, the offer on the cover, and that one change was worth millions. And this really brings us to a crucial point. Your headline, it is your offer. Whether it's the title of your free report, the subject line of your email, or the first line of your ad, that headline is everything. It's the key that unlocks your customer's attention, or it's the reason they scroll right past you. So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here. Number one, your most important job is to sell, period. Number two, stop worrying about traffic and start obsessing over your conversion. Number three, get to know your dream buyer so well it's like you're in their head. And finally, number four, offer so much value up front for free that they can't help but trust you.
And that brings us to the final question I want to leave you with, something to really think about for your own business. What is the single biggest, most urgent hair-on-fire problem that your customer is dealing with right now that you could solve for them for free? Seriously, think about it, because the answer to that question might just be the key that unlocks everything.